Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Sophie Erber. COVID-19 case numbers continue climbing tonight, and experts say that for some, receiving a positive test result can have some serious emotional impact. KCAU 9's Mallory Smith has some tips to fight the stigma in our top story at 5.
Some Siouxland counselors say they've talked to patients who get a positive test back and that it makes them feel guilty or full of shame. But experts say that's a normal feeling to have. Brian Tripp tested positive for COVID a few months back. He says the possibility of him being the reason someone else contracted the virus is what kept him feeling guilty, even after his symptoms faded.
You know, I felt a little guilty because, like, what if I gave it to somebody's grandma, you know, and she ended up passing away? That's on me. So, like, I don't know how long I've had it before I quarantined. You never know. And so, of course, yeah.
Amy Block, the executive director of Catholic Charities, says if you feel the same way, you're not alone, and that other people who choose not to wear a mask or to go out in large groups are not your fault.
Other people were in situations that put them at risk. You're not responsible for the choices other people made, even if maybe you didn't make a good choice.
And if you do receive a positive test, she says, focus on your wellness instead of dwelling on the diagnosis.
And I think some of with this disease, with COVID, there has been a lot of shame placed on having it. You know, people that we've seen here at Catholic Charities have described that people can treat them like the plague if they have it, or people don't want to be around them.
Block says she recommends for her patients who are feeling guilty or anxious to practice deep breathing. Going for a drive or reading a book are just some of the things you can do to help. And she recommends finding the positive side to every situation.
Guilt can be a good thing. There's healthy guilt, there's unhealthy guilt. Some of what healthy guilt does is it keeps us from putting ourselves in difficult situations. It also acknowledges that maybe we didn't make good choices and we can learn from them.
Confiding in friends or family can also be helpful, especially if you're feeling alone while quarantining. If you need professional help sorting out some negative emotions, you can call Catholic Charities and request a counselor.
All right, thanks, Mallory. And there are some new ways that Siouxlanders can know when COVID-19 vaccines are available. It's an online system launched by the Elkhorn-Logan Valley Public Health Department. People 65 years of age and older are eligible to sign up. It is important to note no doses will be reserved, and this is not a way to schedule an appointment. Adding your name to the list simply keeps you up to date on availability, so it's a notification system. We have more on the website right now at SiouxlandProud.com. Let's take a look now at the latest COVID-19 numbers here in Siouxland. Woodbury County Health reporting 15 new cases in 24 hours. The positivity rate continuing to fall, now standing at 12.2%. In Nebraska, Dakota County not yet releasing their new numbers today. The county last reported a positivity rate of 8.8% with roughly 3,700 total cases. And in South Dakota, Lincoln County reports 7 new cases. The positivity rate there stands at nearly 13%. Mutations to the virus that causes COVID-19 are rapidly popping up worldwide, and health officials say the pandemic could still get much worse unless people start to do more to curb case numbers. Each new infection gives the virus a chance to mutate. So far, vaccines seem to remain effective even against the new variants, but the longer it takes to vaccinate people, the more likely it is that a version of the virus can elude defenses that could emerge. Health officials say a new variant first identified in the United Kingdom may become dominant in the U.S. by March. It could cause more hospitalizations and deaths because it spreads more easily. And it's time tonight for our first check on the weather. Meteorologist Marcus Beasley standing by. Marcus, one of those deceiving days. I walked outside, it was sunny, but that wind hits you in the face and it feels much colder than it is.
That's right. I had to pump gas on the way into work this morning, or this afternoon, I should say. But it was pretty chilly out there, just standing there, mainly because of the wind. We had those wind gusts around 30 miles per hour today. Definitely noticeable outside. And our temperatures, even though it was sunny and above average, still cool out there. 38 degrees was our high temperature in Sioux City today, 37 in Wayne, 35 in Yankton, 34 in Lamar's and Orange City, as well as Spencer and Storm Lake. So, again, temperatures above average, but that wind really making it feel colder out there. Overnight tonight, we'll see our temperatures drop down into the teens for much of us, anywhere from the lower teens in Storm Lake and Cherokee to the upper teens in Sioux City and Wayne. So it is going to be a cold night tonight with clear skies. It does look like tomorrow is going to be a splendid day, but by the end of the week and weekend, things are really going to change. Sophie?
All right, thanks a lot, Marcus. The MMCRU schools went into a lockdown this morning. This was after a .22 caliber bullet was found in a school hallway. Police investigated and deemed the high school and elementary schools safe. And in news out of our nation's capital, we are learning tonight that on day one, President-elect Joe Biden says he plans to unveil an 8-year path to citizenship. It would affect nearly 11 million people currently living in the United States. Under this legislation, people living in the U.S. as of January 1st, 2021 would have a 5-year path to a temporary legal status or a green card under certain qualifications. For DACA, or Deferred Action for Childhood Arrival recipients, they could qualify for lawful permanent status immediately. One attorney who specializes in immigration law says the proposed bill comes with great implications.
I think you'll see a lot more eligible workers in the workforce, families being able to stay together first and foremost, people with more purchasing power and more security as far as I'm not going to rent, I'm now going to be able to buy a home because I don't have the fear of being removed.
Coming up tonight at 6, KCAU 9's Lydia Vasquez explains what Siouxlanders say this plan could mean for them. After the violent protest at the Capitol, there is word of turmoil behind the scenes at the Department of Homeland Security. And some lawmakers say a new DHS secretary needs to be confirmed immediately. But one lawmaker, senator specifically, is blocking the Senate from fast-tracking that confirmation vote. KCAU 9 Washington correspondent Alexandra Limon reports.
The terror that you felt, your colleagues, staff, and everyone present will not happen again.
Alejandro Mayorkas told Utah Senator Mitt Romney and other members of the Senate Homeland Security Committee that he will defend the country from foreign and domestic threats like the attack on the Capitol.
I think it's very, very important that we have a Secretary of Homeland Security in place as soon as possible.
Still, Republicans like Senator Rob Portman brought up past complaints about Mayorkas' management style. Republican senators also brought up accusations that when Mayorkas was USCIS director, he used a visa program to grant political favors.
One, is this accurate? And two, if so, why did you go outside the normal course?
It is my job to become involved, to learn the problems that an agency confronts, to become involved in those problems, and to fix them.
Democrats defended Mayorkas and emphasized his experience as Deputy Secretary of DHS and Director of USCIS.
Ali administered our immigration laws while preserving our legacy as a nation of immigrants.
Mayorkas told senators he would not defund ICE, but plans to fulfill President-elect Joe Biden's pledge to stop border wall construction and to support Biden's mission of strengthening protections for DACA and TPS recipients. In Washington, Alexandra Limon, KCAU 9 News.
Students at Iowa's 3 public universities wanting to study abroad, well, they'll have to wait until at least the month of August. The University of Iowa, Iowa State, and University of Northern Iowa have all canceled their study abroad programs now through August 1st. The universities hope the vaccine rollout will make these programs safer in the later part of the year. All 3 universities canceling international travel last spring, of course, because of COVID-19 safety precautions. Well, parenting during the pandemic can be extra stressful. Many kids are now learning from home, and you might also be working from home. So how do you cope with all of these changes?
There is no rule book or handbook on quarantine parenting. Often parents look to their own parents for a style of what to do or what not to do, and no one has been through this experience. So they don't have that role model of how to parent during this time.
Dr. Susan Albers is a psychologist with Cleveland Clinic and has a few tips to help relieve some of the stress. She says, for starters, pick your battles. Make a list of issues and rules that are most important. And speaking of rules, she says, make sure you're being consistent with them. Another tip, be a good role model. Kids are constantly observing you, so if they see you neglecting your own responsibilities, they might try to do the same with their responsibilities. Finally, don't be afraid to say no. Well, Peloton facing lots of complaints tonight over missing bikes. The exercise equipment company drawing a lot of attention during the pandemic. Its value more than quadrupled, but also drawing the ire of customers who say they've been waiting on orders placed since October. Peloton says getting orders out is their #1 priority. And speaking of new things, KCAU 9 is proud to announce the start of a new weekly franchise, Veterans Voices. The first story is set to air Tuesday, February 16th, during our KCAU 9 News at 10. Now, nominations are currently open, so if you know a veteran with a story to tell, email us at the address on your screen, veteransvoices@kcautv.com. Well, Christmas is over, but that doesn't mean all the presents were delivered. But the Postal Service is still dealing with a large backlog. Coming up.
And it looks like it's going to be a cold and clear night tonight. Sunny and warm tomorrow, but then more snow possible this weekend. Details on all of that after the break.
KCAU 9 News with Sophie Erber and meteorologist Marcus Beasley. This is KCAU 9 News at 5.
Well, Marcus, it was a chilly day today. You can see, though, people still out and about, mainly because it's easy to walk with all of that ice melting with all the sun we had today.
Yeah, we've had a lot of that snow and ice melting here over the last few days, and it does look like, even though we are seeing some clouds outside right now, those are going to dissipate overnight tonight. We are going to see mostly clear skies here throughout Siouxland. The view from the KCAU 9 studio brought to you by the Port Neal Welding Company, showing that we are seeing mostly cloudy skies now. We had some sunshine earlier today mixed with those clouds, but overnight tonight it looks like we'll continue to see our skies clear out, believe it or not, on Sunday. So that is definitely something we're going to be watching here in the next couple of days as details become a little bit more clear. 29 degrees for your high on Sunday, and then it looks like next week going to stay fairly chilly with temperatures in the mid to upper 20s. Tuesday, there's a 30% chance of some more snow. So a more active 9-on-9 forecast here with that chance of snow Saturday, Sunday, and Tuesday as well with colder temperatures.
For those of us who don't necessarily enjoy the super cold weather or shoveling, this has been a great forecast, but it had to be a little boring for you.
A little bit, but I'm looking forward to the warmer temperatures tomorrow and then maybe snow this weekend.
All right. Thanks a lot, Marcus. Well, once the next priority list to receive the COVID-19 vaccine rolls out, a woman says she's sad to hear her group is being pushed back. While she's holding out hope to still receive the shot soon. Coming up, but first, tracking your online orders can be reassuring. That is, until your package seems to be stuck in place. Why processing centers are still seeing delays even after the holidays. Next. If you're still waiting on a holiday package, you're not alone. Thousands of deliveries are still behind schedule. Christina Galvin reports on the backlog and how scammers are now taking advantage of the situation.
It's an agonizing waiting game. Countless shoppers still waiting for packages they ordered ahead of the holiday season. According to postal workers in the Philadelphia area, hundreds of thousands of boxes are just sitting inside processing and delivery centers. This picture from the Philadelphia Inquirer showing a facility just months ago. Employees telling the paper, centers still looking like this now.
I've worked for the Postal Service for 32 years, and we've never seen anything on this level, on this scale, in the history of the time that I've been there.
This backlog is expected to take weeks, if not months, to be sorted out.
The employees of the Postal Service are doing everything within their power. We will clear this mail. We will get these packages delivered. Just know that the people that are moving this mail are doing everything within their power to get it done.
Employee availability and COVID safety precautions made it worse. More than 1 million packages of the estimated 3 billion shipped this unprecedented holiday season were delayed across the country for more than 30 days. The FTC now warning about scammers taking advantage of those delays.
And this is really common right now, especially right after the holidays when people are expecting a lot of packages.
The FTC saying these phishing scams are an easy way for criminals to get your personal info. So make sure you have the right software so you're not downloading any malware.
Well, fighting cancer, one mom says she lives on borrowed time now. With her condition, she hopes to receive the COVID-19 vaccine soon. Why she's now waiting longer than planned. Next. In the state of North Carolina, adults who are at a high risk for severe disease were set to be in the next phase of getting that COVID-19 vaccine. That is until the state adjusted its priority list, and now the group got pushed back. Rochelle Metzger tells us how that's impacting one mom living with cancer.
We live on borrowed time.
For Adiba Barney of Cornelius, every moment with her 2-year-old son is priceless.
Every single minute, second, hour I get with him is so precious.
The 43-year-old is living with stage 4 breast cancer that is spread to other parts of her body. She fights every day for more time with her family.
It must be, just creating those beautiful memories.
She's undergone numerous surgeries and daily chemo treatments over the last 6 years. Barney takes 20 pills a day just to stay alive and function.
I do labs, I do scans. I have a bunch of specialists I have to see all the time.
On top of that, she lives in fear of contracting COVID-19. Her frequent hospital visits put her at further risk.
If we do get infected, even if it's mild, we can't do our cancer treatment.
And during that time, her cancer could grow. Barney says when the state began distributing the vaccine, she was overjoyed.
We're so happy. Finally, we can breathe again. And then, boom, no, you're not a priority.
Barney was originally part of Phase 2, Group 2, but when the state adjusted its plan to vaccinate people 65 and older, she and others like her got bumped to Group 4.
We feel betrayed. We have the same risk of getting severely ill and dying from this as really old people.
Barney, along with members of her breast cancer support group, want to be included in Phase 2. They say Governor Roy Cooper's office has been unresponsive. We brought their concerns to the Department of Health and Human Services, but they were unavailable for comment.
Let's take a live look outside right now. Marcus returns with one more check on our forecast coming up next, so stay with us. Before wrapping up here at 5, let's check in first with Tim for what's coming up at 6. Hi, Tim.
Hey, good afternoon, Sophie. High school and elementary students in the Marcus Merton Cleghorn Remsen Union School District today placed on lockdown. The good news, that school day ended without incident. We'll take a look at what led to that lockdown coming up tonight at 6 o'clock. Elsewhere, just ahead after World News Tonight, once in office, immigration amnesty could get early attention from President Biden. How a Siouxland family views the news and what the president-elect is proposing after World News Tonight. And for anyone that's ever sung in the shower before, this story you should like. After 32 years as an officer in the Des Moines Police Department, this guy's getting plenty of online attention these days, not because of what he did in the line of duty, but rather a rare vocal performance. And he wasn't necessarily in the bathroom, Sophie, but he was in one of those hallways that puts out some pretty good acoustics, and you'll want to hear what he had to sing.
Yeah, it really is important where you are singing when you're not a professional, because it either sounds really good or really bad. And we have a really good day tomorrow shaping up. Temperatures, it looks like for some of us, could be closer to 50 than 40.
I think mid to upper 40s throughout much of Siouxland tomorrow, so expect a lot of sunshine, but by the weekend we might see some more snow.
All right, thanks, Marcus, and thank you for joining us. We'll see you back here at 6. Until then, have a great night, everyone.